Hi everyone, my name is Li Hao, and today we're going to do Advent of Code 2020. So Advent of Code is a series of programming challenges on the Advent calendar, and every day there's one challenge, and each challenge there's two parts. Solving each of the parts gives you one gold star, and the goal of this challenge is to solve all of the challenges and then get 50 gold stars. So today we are going to do day 21. If this is the first time you're watching this video, which means that you are losing out from day 1 to day 20, so please be sure to watch them over here, the links. And let's go. And let's go for day 21. Okay, so I've opened day 21, and today is about allergen assessment. Well, you reach the train's last stop and the closest you can get to your vacation island without getting wet. There aren't even any boats here, but nothing can stop you now. You build a raft. You just need a few days worth of food for your journey. You don't speak the local language, so you can't read any ingredients list. However, sometimes allergens are listed in a language you do understand. So you should be able to use this information to determine which ingredient contains which allergen to work out which foods are safe to take with you on your trip. Well, it started by compiling a list of foods, your puzzle input, and one food per each line. So each line includes the food ingredients list followed by sum of all of the allergens that the food contains. Well, each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient, and each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergen. Well, allergens aren't always marked, but they are listed as in contains nuts or shellfish after an ingredient list. The ingredient that contains each listed allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding ingredient list. Well, however, even if an allergen isn't listed, the ingredient that contains that allergen could still be present. Maybe they forgot to label it, or maybe it was labeled in a language you don't know. For example, consider the following list of foods. Okay, so you don't know the name of the ingredient, but you know the allergens, right? So the first food in the list has 4 ingredients, and while the food might contain other allergens, a few allergens the food definitely contains are listed afterward, which is dairy or fish. The first step is to determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food in your list. In the above example, none of the ingredient KFCDs, NHMS, so these 4 ingredients can contain an allergen. So counting the number of times any of these ingredients appear in any ingredients list produce 5. So they all appear once except this, which appears twice. So determine which ingredients cannot possibly contain any of the allergens in the list. Well, how many times of those ingredients appear? So to begin, we get the puzzle inputs. I'm going to save this to a file. And we're going to copy the file to day 21. I'm going to create code day 21. So the problem over here is that if you take a look at here, so each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient, right? So exactly one of the ingredients over here has dairy, and exactly one of it has fish. Okay, and over exactly here only one contains dairy, right? So most likely it would be MXVKD because it appears on both of the lists over here, right? Okay, so that means that these 3 may not contain any allergen, but of course they still one of it still contains fish, right? So we're gonna find the list that contains a fish, and so most likely this one SQGHC contains the fish. So KFCDS and NHMS does not contain any allergen, right? So that is why they are both here. And we're going to find all of these ingredients that does not contain allergen and find out and count how many times they appeared so far. right? So I'm gonna first use of fs and then gonna read the content from the file input day 21. Okay, so I'm gonna open day 21 text and take a look over here. So we have a list of ingredients and then contains list of allergens, right? So for line of content dot split by new line, so we're gonna parse this using regex. So we're gonna match the ingredients and match the allergens equals to, okay, so ingredients and then contains allergens, right? So most likely we're gonna here contains here. Okay. Line dot match, and then the actual ingredients will be, okay, so this is the ingredients in string, allergens in string. So the actual ingredients will be ingredient string dot split by empty space, and allergens equals to allergen string split by comma and a space. Okay, so once we found the ingredients and the allergens, I'm gonna find so I'm gonna use the allergen as a, I'm gonna save them in a map. New map. And the key will be the allergen. So for each allergen of allergens, map set. Key would be the allergen and will be the set of ingredients. Okay. Of course, if we already seen this allergen before, okay, so what we're gonna do is that if this is the first time we're seeing this allergen, then we save this list of ingredients, right? But if we are going to see this allergen again, then we're gonna get the intersection of the previous ingredients we see and the current ingredients that we are seeing. So for example, again, in this example, how we find that, how we think that MXMXVKD contains dairy is that over these two lists, so all this either contains dairy or fish, and all this either one will have dairy, and the only intersection will be the MXMXVKD. So we get the two of the sets of ingredients, and we get the intersection, and hopefully we will do this over and over, all these different kind of ingredient lists and allergen lists, and then we'll find the intersection, and that will be the remaining will be the ingredients that contains dairy, right? So so if map has allergen, else, okay, so ingredient set, new set, save this ingredient set, map.set allergen intersection ingredient set, and the current, right? So the intersection would be sets A and sets B. I'll return a new set, sets results, of sets A. If I sets B has the item, result set dot add item. Right, so the intersection will be, we look through set A, If the item is also in set B, then we add it in. If it's not, then we're not. Then that will give us the intersection between the two sets. Right? So once we go through this process, which means that all the ingredients left in the map will contain an allergen. Right? So whatever is not, then they are the one that without allergens. So probably we will have say all ingredients, new set, and we also need because once we found all of them, we also need to find the frequency, right? So we also need allergen ingredient appearance count. Appearance count. Okay, so all ingredients will have to add all these ingredients, right? So for ingredient okay, and also the ingredient appearance, so we also need to count it. So if has ingredient, then dot set ingredient appearance dot get ingredient +1, else sets ingredient 1. Okay, so once we look through everything, probably we will non-allergen ingredient. We will have to look through each of the ingredients in the map, right? Map dot values for const ingredient of ingredients. Okay, so I think not that quite correct. So I'm gonna look through all the ingredient of all ingredients. I'm gonna look through all the ingredient. I'm gonna see whether any of the map ingredient. I'm gonna see whether this ingredient appears in any of in the allergen set map, the allergen map, right? So this map will say that this allergen appears in this list of possibly appears in this list of ingredients. So as long as this ingredient appears in one of that sets, then it possibly will have ingredients. Will possibly have allergens, right? So we're gonna go through and find that if all of them does not, if it does not appear in all of them, then it's a non-allergen ingredient, right? So here is that for each of the ingredient, I'm gonna find whether it appears within this, right? So if ingredients that has this ingredient, the current ingredient, the ingredient we're looking for, which means that which means that it's not a non-allergen ingredient. So I'm gonna continue the search, right? So this is the search where we are searching for each of the ingredient. But once we go through all them and we end the loop and we still haven't seen this ingredient in any of them, then this ingredient is most likely a non-allergen. So we're gonna add ingredient. Okay, so once we found all the non-allergen ingredients, we also need to find their frequency, right? So let's appearance count equals to 0. Look through ingredient, and if so in the ingredient which is this map, right? So appearance count dot plus equals this get ingredient. And lastly, we're gonna log this variance count. I'll run this. Whoops. Okay, intersection is not defined. Intersection. Okay, 3825. Will that be the right answer? And we shall see. That's not the right answer. Okay, let's come back over here and let's try run just for this one. Okay, let's run this 7. So apparently it's not the right answer. Okay, so let's step a few steps back. Let's just look at what is in the non-allergen list, right? Non-allergen. So it's KFCDS. Okay, so it's not quite correct. SQJH. Okay, it's not that quite correct. Okay, so now let's step even one step back. Let's look at the map. What is in the map? So dairy is this one, which is what we have said so far, right? MXMS. Fish is SQGHC and this one. So let's see what is in the fish. So fish is the last list and the first list. So it's either SQGHC or MXMX, right? That's correct. So soy is either in XJQHC or FVJKL, which is also correct. So, okay. Console log all ingredients. Probably, is it, I misunderstood the question. Let's see. So let's get back to the console. So this is all the ingredients. NHMS, which is also in the list. TRH, possibly contains. Oh wait. This list is TRH, SBZZF, KFDS. Wait, this list is correct, so the frequency is not correct, right? So let's get back over here and let's see. Console log the appearance count. So it says that all ingredients appear once except SBZZF, right? So SBZZF should appear twice. KFCDS should appear once. Okay, that's not correct. Okay. So let's see. So the one that is incorrect is an KFCDS, which should appear only once, but in the frequency map is twice. So let's get back to look at here. Ingredient count. Ingredient appearance sets ingredient plus once. If it has it, then it's once. It's not, then it will set it as 1. Oh, okay, this, we're gonna look through allergens, so that's not that correct. Okay, so we're gonna shift this. I'm gonna shift all this up. Because if this one we're gonna look through twice and it treat all this appears 2 times. I'm gonna shift this thing up. I'm gonna run this again. And yeah, that's the right answer, right? So now we're gonna look at the input and I'm gonna paste it back again. I'll run through the input again. 1913. This time around looks smaller number, feels more legit, and that's the right answer. Okay, so we got 1 gold star, and let's move on to the next part. So part 2. Now that you have isolated the inert ingredients, you should have information to figure out which ingredient contains which allergen. Well, by arrange the ingredients alphabetically by their allergen and separate them by commas to produce a canonical dangerous ingredient list. So this should not be any spaces and this and blah blah blah. Okay, so we need to find that so one ingredient allergen maps to one ingredient. And once we are done, we need to sort based on the allergens and then concat all the ingredients with comma and without spaces and anything, and then this will be the answer that we want to paste out. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have so far. So by the end of here, I think we can comment all this out. Yep, we don't need this. By the end of here, if we console out the mapping, okay, we are left with this list, and shellfish will only have one. Shellfish will only have one ingredient, right? So most likely we try to reverse this and remove any allergens that contains this ingredient. Then we're left nuts with this, and then we can continue to do this over and over again until we can remove, until all the ingredients or allergens are mapped to only just one ingredient. Okay, so we're gonna do this like this, right? So we're gonna firstly is gonna map it out as a mapping of map values. So this gives us an array of arrays of ingredients map with ingredients map entries. Ingredients with the allergens, and we're gonna sort this by so this is the let's map array equals to this, and we're gonna sort it by for okay, let's say map array dot sort A and B. Right, so we're gonna base on the second item, which is the set of the size of the set, and minus that off. So we're gonna sort ascending order by the size of the set. Right, once we've done that, then we can look at the first item for the first set and then remove from there on, and then and then most likely this will be left with one of this, the one that with two items, one of it will left with only one items, and then we continue to do that again, right? So once we remove everything, we'll sort again, and then we look at the second item and remove from the and then find that item find the ingredients in the second item and then remove that ingredient from all the list from the third item onwards. And then we sort again and then look at the third ingredients in the third item, and then remove all the ingredient from the fourth items and onwards. Right, so we're gonna sort and we're gonna remove, right? So we're gonna have use an index first, right? So I equals 0, I less than map array dot length I plus plus. So we're gonna sort first, and then we're gonna look at the ingredient, which is in the map array this the item, the set, and then the only item, which is the ingredient, and then we're gonna loop through. Let j equals to I plus 1, j plus plus, sorry, j less than map array dot length, j plus plus, and then map array j 1 dot remove or delete ingredient. Right, so we just keep doing this over and over, and then when we at the end of it, we will have this mapping of ingredients and only like one allergen and one ingredient. And I'm gonna sort again, so map array dot sort ab sorts by the first which is the allergen, the first item in the array, right? So A0 and B0, right? So how we compare, we can use greater or less than. So if it's less than, then usually ascending is A minus B, right? And if it's A is less than B, then you'll get a negative number, right? And if it's greater than B, then you'll get a positive number, right? So this one, I'm gonna simulate the same thing. We're gonna say if it's less than it's negative number, if it's greater than it's a positive number. All right, once you sort that, look, it's sorted alphabetically now. And then now we're gonna map it to get this ingredients list. So which is to map a item, get the item, the first item in the item, which is, and then we're gonna, that's a set, so we're gonna change it to array and get the 0th item. I'm gonna return that. Oh, I'm gonna write it this way without the, okay, and then I'm gonna join the comma. Right, so we're gonna console this. And let's take a look. We have this answer. I'm gonna copy and gonna paste it in over here and submit. And that's the right answer. So we have solved day 21. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you feel that something I can improve on, please comment down below. So if you want, so we have done day 21 and day 22 is coming right at you. So please remember to subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified when it's out. So see ya, bye bye.